Welcome to the Small Business Tax Savings Podcast, powered by JETRO. Each week, we bring extremely valuable accounting and tax tips specific to small business owners. You will be on your way to growing your business and putting more money in your pockets. Here's your host.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode. Today, we have a special guest on, but before we get to that guest, I want to talk about an initiative that we're running from now until the end of March. And if you've been a listener for a while, you know that we take seriously helping the less fortunate. And as part of that, we're doing a review run. So basically, for every review that we receive between now and the end of March, we're going to be donating meals to the homeless. So I asked that you as listeners participate in this, leave reviews on iTunes, leave a comment as well. And for everyone that we receive, we will be taking that and donating food to the homeless based on the amount of reviews we receive. So just want to let you guys know that's what we're focusing on here as part of our charitable giving initiative that we always do during tax season. Not only just for clients, but we wanted to bring you as listeners and give you an opportunity to be part of our donation as well and make an impact on people's lives. So again, between now and the end of March, we're going to be donating food to the homeless based on the amount of reviews we receive on Apple iTunes. All right, let's get straight to the interview. Now, today's special guest is someone that we've been working with for a long time, and I've always wanted to have him on an episode, and he's finally said yes. And so I'm extremely excited to introduce to you Alex Sonkin from the Due Diligence Project and the VFO Hub. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. It's exciting. Now, listen, don't make it sound like I've been saying no to you guys and no to you guys. We've been very busy. You've been very busy. I've been very busy. And finally, today's the day. I'm excited to join you on your podcast.
Yeah, so really the reason that we're bringing Alex on and the reason that I want to introduce him to our listeners is Alex does some high-end tax planning. When we're talking about sophisticated tax planning, it is really difficult to know every in and out of every piece of tax law. And so that's why us as a firm has partnered with the Due Diligence Project to help us pair us with those professionals, those lawyers and experts that focus on specific high-end tax strategies. And what the Due Diligence Project does, and Alex as a team, is they really help reduce the time related to finding that due diligence on each of these strategies so that we can plug into those strategies, analyze them, and bring massive tax savings to our clients. So we work together closely with Alex to do due diligence on high-end tax strategies and finding the best fit for our clients and their specific unique scenario. So Alex, regarding this due diligence project and how you got here, give us a little background about yourself, kind of what brought you to this place, what motivated you to start this type of service, helping out CPA firms and helping out high net worth individuals.
Thanks so much for having me, Mike. I've had an interesting career. I've done a lot of different things. I'm always interested in finding new and interesting areas. I was a professional options trader for many years, for about a decade in Chicago as a member of the Chicago Board of Trade, the Chicago Board of Options Exchange, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, where I made markets. And I worked for very large international banks as a market maker. I went off and worked for smaller firms, worked on my own. And I would always, enjoy understanding the risk of making a market in options. And so that was my professional career for 10 years of really trying to eliminate the risk in trying to price complicated options on S&P 500, on euro dollars, on soybeans, other grains, traded options, all these different areas. Mm-hmm. And I got into the tax planning business because we moved to California. I knew I wasn't going to get an ocean view from Chicago. So we ended up moving to California and I started building family offices. Built my own family office, hired a CPA firm, hired real estate professionals, mortgage professionals, and we really built a family office serving small, medium-sized business owners. And then we realized, there was a big black hole inside of this thing, meaning no one knows how big the tax code is. Nobody knows how big the tax code is. How many pages is it? 150,000? Is it 200,000? By the time it's already changed because they're constantly changing the tax code. And so for a CPA to service their clients, to deliver world-class value to their clients, not knowing how many pages there are in the tax code is a major problem. And the CPA has been stretched so thin, asked to do so many things, produce financial statements, produce tax returns, do all these different things, and then also go deep and understand this entire tax code. They cannot do it. Just like a doctor doesn't know every area of medicine, just like an attorney doesn't know every area of law, a CPA cannot know every single area of the tax code backwards and forwards like their clients expect them to. So there's a major issue here. The second issue is that tax attorneys by law are not allowed to solicit and market their tax planning strategies. So if you have access to one of the top tax attorneys in the world, he could help you eliminate your taxes. And we know this because 91 of the Fortune 500 companies in last year did not pay taxes. We're talking Fortune 500 companies, the biggest, most profitable, highest revenue generating companies in the world. 91 of those companies did not pay tax. The other 409 did. So what does that tell us? It tells us, we don't know exactly what it tells us, but it tells us that perhaps the tax planning teams of these 91 companies really know what they're doing and the others really may not know what they're doing. That's one idea. I don't know. So we decided to tackle this. And the way we tackle this is by building a community of independent CPA firms, CPAs who've left Deloitte, KPMG, Price Waterhouse, the biggest, the smartest tax partners in the country who've left the big firms, they don't want to be W-2s for them anymore. They don't want to work for Jeff Bezos or Jeff Bezos' family office or Mark Zuckerberg's family office as W-2 employees. They've left, they formed their own firms, and they're in Aspen, they're in New York, they're in Florida, they're in California, they're in Maine, they're all over the country. And they're operating virtually. So what do? We gather them and we build a team. We build a community, just like Amazon built a community, just like Uber built a community, Facebook built a community. We've built a community. Who's in our community? Elite CPA firms, elite specialty firms, and tax attorneys. And so the specialty firms and tax attorneys introduce strategies to us, and our independent CPA firms and virtual family offices do their own independent due diligence on every single strategy. When they like a strategy, when they understand the risk and reward of that strategy and they bring it to their clients are going to bring in their third-party attorneys, third-party CPA firms to look at those strategies, meaning what? We're going to do more due diligence. So what we're doing is we're aggregating the due diligence feedback Q&A from every independent elite professional. I don't need due diligence feedback from just some Joe, but I want top tax attorneys, top CPAs to try to poke holes in the strategies, because together, if we have hundreds of elite CPAs and tax attorneys trying to poke a hole in a strategy, and we gather all those notes, what does that give us, Mike? We have some serious due diligence at that point. And if we share those notes with an elite CPA, we can get to some bottom line results. Like some of these companies like Apple and Amazon, they don't have to pay taxes because their tax planning teams have aggregated world-class specialty firms to help them eliminate those taxes. And we believe that we need to be able to bring those same type of solutions, not just for multi-billionaires, but for people, who are millionaires, who are just business owners trying to make a difference in our communities.
Yeah. And I think the key point is that these aren't just kind of your low-hanging fruit tax strategies. We're talking about high-end strategies, things that some business owners can have massive success and never even hear about. And so the part that you're doing at the due diligence project is really key to these small business owners and being able, and to us as accountants, as having a place where we can explore and understand these high-end tax strategies. These are tax strategies that are not easy to do. They're not very cheap to do. These are tax strategies that bring massive, massive results, but also are very complicated. And so that's why it takes this team of people and these various individuals to do their due diligence and really kind of find out and poke holes and find out what is the best strategy for their clients and where does that, kind of fit into their business growth. Now, the great thing about working with you is that you practice what you preach, and you kind of mentioned building your own, virtual family office initially, which kind of sparked this. You saw this need for people that could really explore these opportunities, and And you and your family have been blessed in business, and your wife runs a company. So tell our listeners a little bit about this amazing product that you guys and your wife is producing, and how that played the role, deeper into the due diligence project.
I have to pinch myself every day because my family came here to this country from the Soviet Union in 1979 with $270 in their pockets, and my parents had the American dream, and I'm living their American dream, and I'm living my own American dream. But it's really my parents' American dream who sacrificed so much to come here. And long story short, I married a beautiful girl, school teacher, graduated from Northwestern. My best friend who went to Northwestern introduced us. I became an options trader. She was a Latin teacher. She developed Latin curriculum for the Chicago public school system. I mean, how many people develop Latin curriculum from K through 6? So she's really bright, very talented. I had no idea how talented she was, but I knew she was an amazing person. Long story short, my aunt and my mother-in-law cured themselves of cancer with a diet, a macrobiotic diet that I'd never heard of. But, when you see family members get cancer and cure themselves of cancer, all of a sudden you pay attention. So this is when, and I've always been curious, and so, I'm like, what is going on? How come doctors don't understand this? How come they were able to do this? So we were doing some research and learned more about this diet. And so as a function of this diet, my mother-in-law, who had a sweet tooth, she couldn't eat sugars and refined sugars and all these different starchy things that were causing the cancer in the first place. So she started baking these pies, desserts, cookies with very strict ingredients: brown rice syrup, no sugar, just, very, very strict ingredients. I would eat them. We'd go up there for Christmas, the holidays. They moved to a farm in Wisconsin from Chicago. So we would, instead of visiting 15 minutes away, we're driving up 4.5 hours away up to Wisconsin. I'm up there eating her cooking. And I'm like, man, this is really, really good. Like, this is better than anything I get in stores and packaged goods, Entenmann's, desserts. And wait a minute, this is based on a diet that cures cancer. There's, being a trader, being an options trader, doing thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of transactions. A lot of them, some of them are winners, some of them are losers. You really hate to lose money, but you could spot trends. So this idea of having my mother-in-law being able to create something that delicious that is based on a diet that cures cancer, even though we're not allowed to say it, that led to the formation of, originally the company was called Macro Treats. The name was ultimately changed to Go Macro. And my wife and my mother-in-law built this company based on an idea that kind of just popped into my head. My wife's not even a salesperson. She did this to really help her mom. Her mom lost a lot of money in trading stocks in the stock market back in 99, 2000. The market crashed. And so we really needed to help my mother-in-law. And so my wife decided to start calling on health food stores part-time. And next thing you know, fast forward, we're in like almost 26,000 stores. We're in Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. Whole Foods identified Go Macros, one of the best products on their shelves. The company is run so tight, so clean, meticulously, and I'm extremely proud of my wife, my mother-in-law, for building the company, for listening to me for the first place, because sometimes wives don't like to listen to their husbands, and the other way around. But this time she actually did. And my goodness, what a blessing. So to watch my wife go, from a school teacher to this ultra affluent business owner with over, 130, 140 employees, a 40,000 square foot facility that's about to be doubled to 80,000 square feet, and have the leading product that so many people are just falling all over themselves for. I hand them out to friends. I give them to clients. I send them to my CPA firms. And people just love this stuff. So we feel very, very blessed. And that's forced me to build out a family office for my own family, to help support our family office leadership, our tax attorneys, our CPAs, and make sure that they have access to best-in-class peer-reviewed resources the same way all these other billionaires do. So the strategies that we share with you, many of them we're using ourselves in our own family. And now that I don't have to work anymore for money, I'm here to help people like you win. I'm here to help other business owners win. And the way we do that is through the leadership of their virtual family offices and their elite CPAs. And like you said, you're a business owner, I'm a business owner, I'm married to a business owner. The people that we serve are business owners. We have a special place in our heart for them. And we want to make sure that they have every kind of resource, because we believe that business owners make a huge impact in our communities, creating jobs, giving back to charities, all these different things that business owners do so efficiently. We want to lead them and help them do their jobs as best as we can, because that really makes a difference in our communities.
Yeah, and that's great. And I think that, a lot of times whenever you're faced with a problem and you're able to start a business using that problem, so you were looking for a family office, that just the solution that you were looking for just wasn't there. And it wasn't necessarily bad accountants that you were working with. It was just that solution that they needed also wasn't there. And we started our firm very similar. I was looking for a modern kind of new age approach to accounting and taxes and all that when I was a business owner, and I couldn't find one. And so our businesses started off very similar ways. And I think that, one thing that we love working with, the due diligence project, is just the fact that you live and breathe what you preach. This is not just throwing stuff out there to anybody that's available. This is stuff that you actually believe in. You believe in your clients, you believe in us. And it's just been, a really incredible experience kind of working with you along this journey.
Mike, I really appreciate, listen, there's only, we only know one way, we never start, I'm really proud of it. It's funny, Go Macro, my wife has been offered opportunities to acquire the company by very, very large, famous companies. And the reason people are like, why don't you sell? Why don't you sell? Well, they never started it for the money. It wasn't really about, it was to help her mom, in retirement, but it's way beyond that. They don't want to sell because their goal was really to create something special that makes a difference in the world. People want to eat things that don't cause cancer, and they want to eat things that are delicious. And unfortunately, there's not that many products out there that can deliver on both fronts. And Go Macro does. And it's a very, very special company. And so the feedback, the emails that we get from people who are sick and they literally can't eat anything except macro bars. I mean, it really touches us. When we, on the flip side, and really the due diligence project really started back then. Let's figure out, hey, and the reality is back then I didn't do my own due diligence, and I'm not doing my due diligence now. Back then I relied on my mother-in-law. I relied on these elite nutritionists and all this community, just gathering all this information and really figuring this out, and letting these best in class, like my mother-in-law, who really came up with the recipes, be the leader. When we flip over to the tax planning side in the due diligence project, I am not the guy. I may have organized these resources in our community a little bit, but it's really you. It's really these independent CPAs who are passionate about helping clients, who are professionals, who understand a lot of the tax code, who to look at these new strategies and say, is this really going to create risk or not? What's going to happen in audit? What's going to happen in tax court if we get there? Are we really going to win? How are they going to attack this? Really going deeper. And when you're talking about family-owned businesses, this is really what we're talking about. Your business, a family-owned business. Go Macro is a family-owned business. The due diligence project, the virtual family office hub is a family-owned business. Our names are on it. Private equity hasn't come in and taken us out and put their money in, and all of a sudden we have some people who have no connection to the business. They just want the money, right? Yeah. As soon as you lose that family-owned spirit and it becomes about the money, things seem to not go as well. And so there's, by staying family-owned, by staying involved, it's a fun game for me to play. It's a fun game for you to play. Look at these football coaches. These football coaches, they coach football for all their lives, and then they quit, they retire, and then they die. It's like, I'm teaching my kids, and we're talking to business owners about doing something where they could do this. We could do this for the rest of our lives because it's who we are, because we're making a difference, and it's fun. I don't look at this as work. I don't see my wife looking at running Go Macro as work. She looks at it as making a difference, and it's fun. I look at this as fun, helping people like you, helping elite CPAs around the country make a difference for their business owners. It's fun. there's an energy there because there's winning, and there's making a difference in other people's lives that really brings tremendous joy. And the fact that we get to make money doing this, I think, is a side bonus.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's very well said, and I agree 100% with you. And it's funny because before I ever met you, I met Go Macro first, and so when we kind of put those two together, I was like, wow, your family or your wife's the one behind that, and it's just been an incredible journey, and I really appreciate just getting to know you, getting to know what you're doing, and just being able to partner with you. And I've always said that. I can't know, and you've mentioned this, I can't know every tax law and I can't understand everything, but I can partner with people that can specialize in certain things. And that's really the power behind what you have going on. It's being able to partner with people while also bringing in people that are doing their own due diligence. Mm. So we're not just yes men coming in here saying, oh, yep, whatever Alex says or whatever his strategies say, we believe. It's we're doing our work on our end to prove it, and you're in there to help facilitate that and bring these experts to the table. And it's really been an amazing experience.
I appreciate that. Look, all we're doing is we're modeling. We're modeling, successful companies. We're this week marks kind of the death of Kobe Bryant, and I know a lot of our hearts are very heavy right now. And I know I'm timing this, because it's a podcast. People might be watching this months from now, years from now, and everyone's going to remember, when Kobe Bryant passed away. But one of the things that Kobe Bryant, has done for our world is shown how how someone could model someone else and just be relentless. He chose Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time. And he identified him. He's like, I'm going to be like this guy. And we watched him grow from, high school ball player to this incredible 41-year-old father, leader, one of the best basketball players in the world. And you watched him do this, and he just worked hard and modeled, and just didn't say anything, didn't point fingers, just kept back and working hard. And, this is why it hurts so much, because there's so many amazing business owners out there who are doing just that. They don't get any credit for it. They don't get any adulation for it, but we know who they are. We know they're out there. And then there are these amazing dads, teaching their daughters and leadership skills. So to me, being able to take a leader and show them out there and show others how to model that and create these results. I mean, to me, that's really what Kobe Bryant encapsulated in his life, was identified someone, worked his butt off, kept doing it, and got there. Without saying anything, without pointing fingers, just doing it the right way. Was he a perfect person? I don't know. But we're going to remember him for what he did. And so how that relates to what we're talking about is that we want to surround ourselves with incredible leaders, just like Michael Jordan, and so that's why we want to find A+ players, the best tax attorneys, the best specialists, the best leadership. And then we want to find the best virtual family offices, the best elite CPAs, and build this incredible A+ community where we can have role models, where we can have true leadership. And when we do this together, great things happen. And so that's really what we're doing. And when we do it together, it feels good. And when we win together, it feels even better. So I'm just kind of copying team structure and what Amazon's doing out there, and all these other leadership companies in leadership positions are doing. And so I'm not going to take any credit for this. I'm just I'm being a copycat, just like Kobe Bryant was a copycat of Michael Jordan. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with identifying great leaders, great companies, and emulating them and working your butt off to be like them and hopefully surpass them at some point. And that's really what we're doing. We're building this community where people can come in, join, and win together. And as long as they're passionate about making a difference in the world, they're not here just to make money, because people who just focus on the money don't seem to be really effective doing what they really want to be doing. So the money comes as a side note. And that's why we're looking for like-minded individuals like you, people who are passionate, people who are there to really make a difference. So it's a pleasure to be working with you in the same way you said, you've given me so many compliments. I'm going to give you a lot back. Your clients are very lucky to have you. And it's just been a pleasure to be on your podcast, my friend.
Awesome. Well, Alex, I appreciate you taking the time today. I hope to maybe do a follow-up episode down the road and maybe even share some of the success stories that we've seen with some of the clients that we've been working together. I know there's been some some crazy savings and life-changing things that we've done together. And I know that will just continue to grow. So I definitely appreciate you taking the time today and joining us and joining the podcast.
Thank you so much, Mike. Listen, have a great day. Have a great rest of your week, my friend.
Thanks. Okay. Now, one last thing before I go. Don't forget to check out our podcast website at www.taxsavingspodcast.com. That's taxsavingspodcast.com. This is a great resource to go and check out our most recent episodes, as well as find extra items if you want to take what we discuss here and dive deeper. Again, also join our Facebook group where we share tons of value, and you have the opportunity to bring situations you are faced with to the table, and we'll help you out in that Facebook group, and other business owners will support you as well. You can join by simply searching in Facebook for the Small Business Tax Secrets group. Again, it's a Facebook group called Small Business Tax Secrets, and there should be a group that pops up that you can join.
This has been another episode of the Small Business Tax Savings Podcast from the team at JETRO. If you enjoy our weekly episodes, please leave a review on whatever platform you listen to us on and share with other business owners. If you have any questions or future topics you want to hear, email them to tax@jetrotax.com. Thanks for listening and have a great day.